The Beyond, a movie about first contact. If this is interesting, sit back, relax, and let's go talk about it. Hello, beautiful
Kaiser
humans.
gotcha.
Welcome back to Kick Up Flex. My name is Chris D. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. The Beyond, which is directed by Hasraf Dalal, is a documentary style movie that is about first contact with aliens and what humans will do to get to where they need to be. What the story is about is a wormhole that opens up in the middle of space, and this space station, which is very similar to NASA, notices it and they're like, oh, let's send something in there. They really do, and it's a complete failure. So then all of a sudden, they're trying to figure out how to get people into the wormhole so that way they can see what's on the other side, because, this is pretty much first contact because somebody had to open it up, because if there's an entry, there's also an exit. Knowing that humans cannot enter a wormhole just because of the gravitational pull is too much for the body to handle. Therefore, the secret organization kind of comes out of nowhere and says, hey, we have these synthetic bodies that will give you the ability to enter the wormhole. The only thing that we need is a human brain, and let's make it one of your people, because the first contact needs to be something that doesn't really involve the military. But guess what? Did they have weapons on one of these synthetic bodies? Oh yes, they did. Why? Because we are people and human beings, and therefore we always believe that at least one needs to have weapons of some kind of destruction, because you never know what we're gonna find on the other end. And the way I see it completely pointless, because I don't think that we can fight against any type of extraterrestrial life that has the ability to open up a wormhole just to begin with. Moving on past that point, I think this movie does take on a little bit too much, and it probably would have gone a lot further if they would have just simplified it just a little bit, because they are taking on a lot. They are dealing with the simple fact of the matter of just trying to enter into the wormhole, and that is pretty much enough for me. And on top of that, these black clouds come out of the wormhole, which they apparently didn't see up until it was about to enter the Earth's atmosphere. And they created like these black orbs all around the Earth. That is interesting within itself too, because it's like, oh, are we being attacked? Or what is happening? How are they making first contact? What are we going to do? And as usual, the government does things as well. Now, of course, they didn't show anything about what the people are doing. That probably wasn't in the budget. So either way, that is fine. And I probably would have just left that out as well. But while dealing with all this, you're also dealing with this secret organization to create these synthetic bodies, which they end up creating, which means that they have to recreate a new spacecraft in order to get a spacecraft into the wormhole, only for the simple fact is that they need reinforcements on the rocket in order for it not to go kaboomy. But this is apparently like a one-way mission. There's kind of like no way back. So therefore they add on top of that on the story of, hey, you're going to have to tell your family that we are no longer going to be here, or there's going to be like some kind of accident or something like that. I was also waiting for at some point during the story for it to start to turn around, but that really didn't come toward the end. I really did like the ending because of, now on top of all of this so far, what I think this movie did really good in is the simple fact of creating first time, meeting beings that are not of this earth, and that we are not alone. I think that was very interesting on that take. And at the same time, it leads to a lot of fear of saying, hey, if somebody has the technology to open up a wormhole, we really don't have the ability to defend ourselves no matter what kind of weapons we currently use. Only for the simple fact because they can do a whole lot more. Second thing that they did really good in is creating the synthetic bodies. The fear of that humans have the ability to create cyborgs and therefore no longer need our body to live for longer periods of time. And I found that very interesting and kind of very creepy, to be honest, because that is one thing that they did really good on, is made these like synthetic bodies with brains in it look really creepy, because there was still a human face, but it wasn't like a whole human face. It was just the eyes, as if that really mattered. No. And then, if the voice box couldn't work, it just sounded really weird. So I give him top A on that aspect. And the third thing that they did good is that the simple fact that it was done as a docuseries really did keep you engaged, because it's always like you're being answered a question throughout the whole entire movie. Someone is always trying to put their information somewhere, and that kind of lets your brain navigate through that and ask questions itself. It doesn't necessarily need to be answered, and I think that's what makes this movie fun to kind of watch. But is it a top grade, HBO movie. No, it is really not. But at the same time, it is a really good movie to support, and it's fun to watch, and it leads to creative conversation with friends. Would I watch it again? Yes, but only on the caveat that if I was going to use it for a film theory-esque type deal where I need to use it as an example, like Frame or those are like kind of like theories that are created for film, and use that in a YouTube video. Other than that, I wouldn't necessarily watch it. But is it worth the first watch? Yes, I do. So if you've seen it, or if you have any interest in seeing it, comment down below, let me know. And as usual, if you like what I'm doing, subscribe, hit that like button because it does help me out with that YouTube algorithm, and don't forget to click the bell notification for every time I post. You won't miss anything. And most importantly, don't forget to kick up and not down, and I will see you the next time I post. Peace.